right, well, in the first learning target, we learned all about the different vocabulary that we can use to describe different parts of polynomials. In the second learning target, we're talking about how to name a polynomial based on the degree and the number of terms. Now, we can think of polynomials as having two names, a first name and a last name. The first name is based on the degree of the polynomial, and the last name is based on the number of terms in the polynomial. So let's look at these 5 examples to kind of see how this chart works. This first polynomial, if we're going to name it, we're going to give it 2 names. So I'm going to just draw 2 lines here. So you can think about it as having a first name and a last name. So the first name of this polynomial comes from the fact that it has a degree of 4. If you look at this polynomial, the term with the highest degree is this one right here, and that degree is a 4, which means that this is a 4th degree polynomial, which means we are going to call it, if it has a degree of 4, the first name is going to be quartic. Quart as in quarter, like there's 4 quarters in a dollar or 4 quarters in a football game. So that's where that comes from. Quart means 4. Now, the last name comes from the number of terms. A monomial has 1 term. A binomial, like a bicycle, has 2 wheels. A binomial has 2 terms. And like a tricycle has 3 wheels, a trinomial has 3 terms. So this is a quartic trinomial because it has 1, 2, 3 terms. So this first one we're going to call a quartic trinomial. The second one, the term with the highest degree is this one right here. If it's written in standard form, it's going to be your first term. And the degree on this term is 1 because it's like that's an x to the first power, which means that first name is going to be linear. And the last name comes from the fact that there are 2 terms in this binomial, 1, 2, so it's a binomial. Linear binomial. This one over here, the term with the highest degree is this one right here. It's the only term. And the degree of that term is 3, which means the degree of this polynomial is 3, so it is a cubic. Separate these here. It's a cubic, and because there's only 1 term, it's a monomial. This one, the first name, comes from the fact that it is a 3rd degree polynomial because the term with the highest degree is right here, and the degree of that term is 3, which means this whole entire polynomial is 3rd degree, and we call that cubic. So if it has a degree of 3, it's a cubic polynomial. Now, if it has 1 term, it's a monomial. If it has 2 terms, it's a binomial. If it has 3 terms, it's a trinomial. Anything higher than 3, there's not a special name. We just say a polynomial with that many terms. This is a cubic polynomial with 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. There's not a special name for that. There's only a special name for if there's 1, 2, or 3 terms. If there's 4, like here, we just say polynomial with 4 terms. This last one, the term with the highest degree is right here because the degree of this term is 7 and the degree of this term is 2, which means 7 is bigger than 2. So the term with the biggest degree is this, and the degree of that is 7, which means this is a 7th degree polynomial. So, just like over here, anything higher than 3 doesn't have a special name. Anything higher than 5 doesn't have a special name over here. So we just call it 7th degree. It doesn't have a nice name like the first anything here under 5 and under. Okay? So it's 7th degree, and then its last name comes from the fact that there are 2 terms, 1, 2. So it's actually a 7th degree binomial. And that is how you name polynomials. The first name comes from the degree of the polynomial. The last name of the polynomial comes from how many terms are in the polynomial. And that's how we get a polynomial's first and last name.